Hey, I'm Dusti Martin with Platinum Living Realty, and today I'm going to walk you through how to find the safest neighborhoods in Arizona, and specifically the safest neighborhoods in Scottsdale, Arizona. A lot of times people come here from out of town and they ask me, how do I know this is a good neighborhood? Or where is a good neighborhood? Or is that a good neighborhood? And unfortunately, as a realtor, I can't really tell you, yes, that's good, or no, that's not, because that's considered redlining or steering. What I can do is give you the information to help you make your own decision. All right, so buckle up, let's go. All right, so we're going to start by using the communitycrimemap.com website. Like I said, communitycrimemap.com is where you want to go. It's a LexisNexis site. It's used for risk solution, stuff like that. A lot of insurance companies use it. So what we're going to do is we're going to scroll in, zoom in to Arizona. And as we get closer, it's going to start telling us there's too much on the map and you need to chill. So let's let it wait for a minute here. All right, so we're going to start by scrolling in and zooming in on Arizona. Yep, saying you're too far out, there's too much stuff, you need to scroll in more. So we're going to scroll in a little more, and as we get closer into the valley, you start to see some patterns, all right? So what we're going to do though is it might look like there's literally like nothing going on in some of these areas. Like, does Peoria just have like zero crime? No, that's not the case. What they do is they have a couple little defaults over here. So they have homicide checked, but not attempted homicide or a death investigation. So we want to come down and we want to click all of these: fraud, shoplifting, theft, robbery. One is sexual offenses, but not assaults were checked. It's kind of weird. So you want to check everything: burglary, arson, DUI, alcohol violations, drugs, disorderly conduct, traffic incidents, vandalism, weapons violations. Usually where you have like gang activity and stuff, you'll find weapons violations or domestic violence type stuff. And then they have all other non-criminal, which are these little white dots. Lots of dogs barking, somebody left their trash can out. Not surprising that there is a lot of that in the retirement communities out by Sun City. And then all other criminal. If it's a criminal violation, it's something we care about, right? So, and then as we begin to scroll in, it starts to populate more and more the closer we get. Okay, so, and then you'll see like the little red ones. Somebody's, aggravated assault. It'll tell you who, what, other assaults, drugs, that kind of thing. You'll see a lot of it around major intersections, places with bars, stuff like that. So that's something to keep in mind, okay? What you want to do is scroll in and look at all of this other stuff. So we'll search just Scottsdale. So here's the 101. Scottsdale's approximately 2 miles wide, right? So, and you can see up and down here, some parts of Scottsdale are going to be a little more exciting than others, right? So down here is where we have the entertainment district, Fashion Square, a lot of shopping, dining out, that kind of stuff. And then as you go further out, it kind of tapers off. But you have to remember, there's not a whole lot of people that live out here in North Scottsdale. For example, my neighborhood is minimum of 1 acre parcels. So for example, we have people who get into traffic accidents once in a while, but we don't really have a whole lot of actual crime. Another thing you can do is come over here and it'll look for a date range, right? And it will default to roughly about the last few months, but I like to go back, like say about a year. So let's go to 2019, October, from today to 2019, and saying our date range is too large. So let's try 6 months. So that would have been, let's see here, April 2020, April 8th. And it is a slow site, so you do need to be patient with it. But what I always suggest to people is to actually take and map where you live now, compare the crime and types of crime and amount of crime, and then kind of look at the general area that you're thinking of renting or buying in and compare. Am I okay with more crime, less crime, the same amount, different types of crime? And that way you can get a general feel for what's going on. You'll see mostly in Scottsdale, you see most of it kind of centered around like the major shopping and entertainment hubs. It's just kind of natural. The more alcohol there is around, the less likely people are to behave. So it just kind of goes hand in hand. The other thing it has is some analytic layers. It has a density map and a resolution that will actually kind of show you kind of like a heat map of where the most crime is. Let me zoom out here a little bit. So there's some hot spots over here in the North Valley, a small hot spot near PV Mall and so forth. But you can kind of get an idea. And then, like I said, it kind of tapers off once you go out this way. There's not a whole lot of people, so therefore not a whole lot of crime. But you can do that, and then you can even choose the resolution on it so you can see through it more or less. And then there's also agency layers, you know, to see who's in what jurisdiction, the different beats, the districts, the subzones. So you can click that here. And this is all different beats here. You can see the different districts and then the subzones. And the different beats are broken into smaller subzones. Those to me aren't as necessary, but they are helpful if you're trying to figure out who to talk to. All right, so you can see here, it's got the density maps and it'll tell you where you're most likely to see the most crime in the area. And obviously, the more red an area is versus how blue it is or non-existent, that's something to take into consideration. So if you do it that way, it actually works out pretty well. And like I said, you can zoom in to see all the different types of crime. And then like you can come down here and, oh, here's another thing, sex offenders. For some reason, the default doesn't actually show you known sex offenders. So I like to make sure I have those mapped out, because when those are included, you can definitely see a pattern when you scroll out. But then also, if we take all of the different events away, you can actually see where the majority of sex offenders are and where they are registered at least. What I highly recommend is when you do find a house that you do like, that you're thinking of making an offer on or considering renting, come up in here, the top left corner in here, type in the address of where you are thinking of buying, and then make sure it'll zoom to that area in that neighborhood, and you'll be able to make sure that there's no registered violent sex offenders next door to you, for example. And the nice thing is here, it will actually, you can click on them and it'll tell you who they are, have their photo, what they did, how dangerous they are, how they're rated, the whole 9 yards. So it's really helpful, especially if you have little ones, in determining what's a good area, what maybe isn't. And then you, like I said, you don't have to worry about somebody's opinion of an area overriding maybe some of the facts and the details. That's how to do it. If you have any questions, let me know. All right, so that was just a quick tip. Like I said, use communitycrimemap.com, compare it to where you are now, and then make your decision. Am I okay with that level of crime of where I'm at now? Do I want something better? Is what I have okay? Once you have all of that information, you're good to go. If you have any questions, give me a call at 480-717-9405 or visit my website at dustimartinrealtor.com.